Hi everybody, it's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my channel today. Thank you for following my videos and giving these videos thumbs ups. Thank you for subscribing to Traveling with Bruce with over 60,700 followers. Really appreciate it. And I love that you folks follow my live shows Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where I talk to you about what's going on in the cruise world and bring in the odd guest from time to time. We have a lot of fun there. I got to tell you, folks, this video I've been grappling with what to tell you, how to title it. I haven't been sure how to title this video, but I thought I've kind of come up with an idea. Is it possible that some of these cruise lines could go bankrupt this year? I think that's the title I'm going to have to come up with. I can tell you right now that in 2019, had you told me that I would be talking to you, watching my videos, that we hadn't taken a cruise from March of 2020 until the possibility of the midpoint of 2021, I would have thought you were out of your mind. Even a 1 month shutdown, couldn't imagine it. There's just no way. The world was hustling and bustling in 2019. People were really looking forward to these new ships coming out, all kinds of new things happening on board, unthinkable. But lo and behold, starting in March of 2020, we got the shutdown, and it continues. Cruise lines globally are shut down, which is also unthinkable. There are a handful of ships sailing here and there, but 99% of this business is shut down. Airlines, some airlines are shut down completely. Some airlines are kind of operating. In the U.S., they're trying to operate domestically, and they're having a tough time reaching even a third of what they once used to do. Hotels in the USA reached a 50% occupancy level on average in the last month for the first time since early this year, and the thinking going forward is for the rest of the year they might go back to 20-25%. In Europe, complete carnage. Travel is decimated there. Group tours are all gone. Sailings, a handful of ships are sailing, but COVID cases are beginning to show on cruises over there in the Mediterranean. Hotel occupancy levels are apparently already declining, and the thinking is through the winter 20-25% occupancy levels, which means bankruptcies in the hotel business. For cruise lines, they've got a couple of problems here that really isn't being talked about a lot. But today we did hear that the CDC last week did issue a recommendation to the American public not to take a cruise anywhere in the world for their health and safety. This is a rarity. A year ago, this would have caused a sensation. The announcement was made last week. No one cared. It was picked up by a couple of media outlets. I think I mentioned it in a video. Today, it's being picked up by a few news outlets across the USA, getting a bit of traction. And that is because in Europe, the number of COVID cases are spiking badly in France, Spain, UK, and now other countries, including Italy. And the thinking here is with the Grandiosa you see right here, she's been sailing with about a 30% occupancy level now for about 8-9 weeks. They had a case last week that was discovered, a COVID case, but we don't know the truth about what's happening with MSC, unfortunately, because they are under no obligation under Italian marine law to reveal any details of COVID cases on board this ship. We do not know if there have been any cases other than the one that we've heard about, and we don't even know if that person was a crew member or a passenger. So talk about sailing in the dark. By the way, thank you all of you out there. This video is being sponsored by you, the viewers. I really appreciate all of you who follow my channel, especially those of you who have become sponsor members of this channel. I cannot tell you what this means to me. I have now dedicated 2 live shows a week just for sponsor members because of the interest in this channel. Mondays, 7 o'clock Eastern, Fridays, 3 o'clock Eastern, and we play trivia Fridays, and we have a lot of fun as well. Thank you all of you who are becoming sponsor members. I will send you a postcard from Traveling with Bruce and Creston here in British Columbia. Become a sponsor member today, and thank you all of you out there who have been visiting my Red Redbubble store to pick up TWB items through Redbubble. The links for all of these are down below in the description. Another thing that's hampering cruise lines going forward, these COVID cases are one problem. But the second problem is that, especially in the Caribbean, although we're looking at a photo here from Cabo San Lucas, in the Caribbean, a number of countries are realizing that in 2018, 19, and going into 20 and 21, they were thinking that they were going to have between 1 and 3 million visitors a year coming off cruise ships to their little islands. And in the Cayman Islands, for example, right here, you'll note that they right now are not interested in bringing cruise ships back to their country until sometime in 2021, and even that is hanging in the balance. And the reason is simple. This picture right here says it all. All of those lounge chairs are used by folks who come down for a 1-2 week vacation. And the Caymans would really much like to open up vacationing again, but they're really leaning towards airplane passengers only who are going to spend 1-2 weeks each at these 5-star hotels on the beach, rather than bring folks in from these vessels who are going to come in for a 4 to an 8 hour time frame, maybe spend $100, $150 a piece. They're bringing them in by the plane load, at least that's the thinking. These folks will spend $500 to $1,000 a day being down in the Cayman Islands, and they'll employ more people on average per person. They will visit the local restaurants and bars. They will adhere to the safety rules. They'll rent cars. They'll explore all the other islands' attractions, and this brings much more wealth to Caymanians than a cruise ship visitor does. And bottom line is this: if 5 people come off a cruise ship that test positive later on because they were asymptomatic, the Cayman Islands may find that a bunch of their locals are becoming infected by these short-term visitors by the tens of thousands. Because it was quite common last year for the Caymans to have 5, 6, 7 ships a day in the harbor, and 15,000, 17,000 people a day were all over the island for 6-8 hours, and then they were gone in the afternoon. I think the islands are leaning towards this, why don't we go after the higher demographic individual only and have them stay for a week. We'll test them thoroughly, of course, when they, before they get here. When they get here, we can quarantine them, and we can handle 5,000 visitors spending a lot of money rather than 15,000, 20,000 a day not spending a lot of money and possibly leaving behind traces of the virus. We would rather play the game of a lower volume deal and a much higher demographic. This is being talked about in Barbados, St. Kitts, San Martin, other Caribbean islands are all thinking the same thing because they have limited hospitalization capacity, and they would rather deal with fewer people than higher numbers of people, especially if they're there spending much more money. For the cruise lines, it's bad news. It's just bad news all around. They may find that they're restricted with respect to how many ships they can bring into port every day. That means fewer ports of call available for the cruise lines, and restrictions as to what they can do with their passengers when they get here. They're not going to be allowed to just get off the ship and walk around town. These cruise passengers might be herded into buses and driven to specific spots, and then back on the bus, back to the ship, and no shopping whatsoever, no sightseeing other than that. That takes a lot of places out of play for the enjoyment of cruise ship passengers, and that means cruise ship passengers may not want to book a cruise if they're not given the right to enjoy the local area and sights and sounds. And this is just the way it's going. Cruise lines are billions in debt. They're going to become billions more in debt if we don't sail through 2021. And with the second wave of the virus now hitting maximum numbers in Europe and now in the U.S. again, we may find that we don't sail until 2022. And the question then is, which of these cruise lines goes under first? There will be reorganizations, maybe amalgamations, maybe asset sales. I don't know. It's only just begun from what I can see here, and we'll have to follow this as of course we will. Again, thank you for joining me and following my videos and my updates as they keep coming in. Join me live Monday night, 7 o'clock for sponsor members, 8 o'clock for anybody else. And join me Wednesdays. I usually have a live guest with me every Wednesday night talking about the cruise business and travel. Thank you again, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.